guys, I'm in Chicago. Well, not really Chicago. It's a little bit over Chicago with For Today's Mattie, lead singer. So, how's the tour going so far?
Awesome.
Awesome.
This has been the best tour we've ever done. It's the most fun
Alright.
tour we've ever been on.
That's cool. We heard you're going on Warp this summer. What are you most excited about? And have you ever been to a show?
Yeah, I went to Warp Tour when I was probably 2004 or something like that, when I was 16. But I think I'm most excited to see what happens when that atmosphere is sort of introduced, or when the gospel is introduced to that atmosphere. You know, we've been preaching about Jesus for years, and you know, I remember I wasn't even a Christian when I went to Warp Tour, and I remember looking around and saying, these kids just look broken. They look like they're looking for something, you know. And I'm excited that we finally get to offer a cure. You know, there's going to be a remedy available at Warp Tour, and I can't wait. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe nothing's going to happen, but
we'll definitely be there cheering you on.
Yeah, thank you.
You have Immortal coming out May 22nd, and you have your single Fearless already on iTunes. How's the fans' reaction been so far?
I mean, we've gotten everything all over the spectrum. People freaking out saying it's the best song they've ever heard, to people saying, well, I don't really like it. I don't like their new stuff. Because, you know, every album, everybody's like, I like their old stuff, because they want people to know that they've been listening to the band longer than them. But it's been kind of all over the place. I think mostly it's been really positive. People like it. The song goes over really well live. You know, it seems like people are able to learn it pretty fast, which was kind of the point of writing such a repetitive singing part. You know? So.
What's your favorite song on the album?
On the new album?
Mm-hmm.
A song called Foundation.
Foundation, okay.
Yeah, I love that song.
For that.
Cool.
How does the touring experience in South America differ from the United States? Because we know you have a big following there.
South American fans really appreciate bands coming to their city. Yeah. It's funny because, you know, I think the first thing we ever did in South America, or one of the first things we ever did in South America, was we went to Panama and Costa Rica, and nobody had ever heard of us before they announced our tour. And between the time they announced the tour and the time we got down there, everybody got online and learned all of our songs.
Wow.
So there were 700 kids coming to these shows, and it wasn't because they have been For Today fans forever. It was just because it was such a big deal that a band was coming, that they all went and learned the songs and sang along with us.
And I know kids went to the airport, right, to meet you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Kids. I mean, there were times that we would pull up to shows, and there would be hundreds of kids standing out on the sidewalk applauding as we got out of the van.
So cool.
And that sort of thing just doesn't happen in the United States, because every city has a million shows going through all the time. So, you know, I think probably the biggest difference is that the two biggest differences. One, it's that the kids or the fans really appreciate bands coming out, and the second is that shows don't ever run on time, even sort of. I mean, there would be times that they would say we were going to go on at 7:30 p.m. and we would wind up going on at like 1 a.m. the next day. So, but everybody's fine with it. They all know that's just how it runs, so it's not a big deal.
That's awesome. You guys are obviously an openly Christian band, but some of the bands and artists you've toured with aren't. Does that make a difference in the shows?
No, not at all. You know, when we're on a tour and we're not the headliner, we have a sort of time slot that we can't, or a point in time that we can't sort of continue playing after. You know, we're always really respectful with the amount of time that we take. You know, I've seen Christian bands try to stand up there and preach for 45 minutes and say, we're doing the will of God, and it's like, actually, you're just being really disrespectful to everybody. That is not the will of God. You know, now that it's our headliner, obviously I'm able to talk a lot more. But the bands that we're on tour with, they really don't change what we say. You know, just the fact that sometimes we have less time than others. You know, we want to be respectful of people, but as much as I love respecting and honoring people, I love respecting and honoring the Lord more. So I will always preach Jesus at every single show, no matter what band we're on.
That's awesome. Are you ever nervous or scared about preaching at a show with the mixed audience? Or have you ever got bad feedback?
I used to be. Oh yeah, we get bad feedback a lot. You can hear people cussing us out from the crowd and stuff. But I used to be really afraid of it. Maybe not really afraid, but kind of intimidated and just really concerned with what people thought and how they would react. Until one day I actually heard the Lord say, "I don't need you to defend me," and you know, and I thought, well, it makes me so angry when these people are cursing you and and coming against the gospel and hating it. And he said, well, I don't need you to defend me. And the reason that you feel like you need to is because you preach out of selfishness. And as I kind of became introspective and really looked at myself, I was able to see that the reason I was preaching is because people thought it was cool, because people respected me for it and thanked me for it and admired me for it and valued me and the band more because of it. And so then when people did not respect me for it, when people hated it and didn't like it, then suddenly I got all personally hurt and offended about it. And now I can honestly say the reason that I preach at every show is because it makes Jesus happy. And everybody in the entire venue could hate it and plug their ears and go outside while I do it, and I would still do it because Jesus loves it.
What's your favorite inspirational quote or Bible verse? A couple people asked that.
Favorite Bible verse is John 3:30. And that says, he must become greater, I must become less. I feel like that is the sort of underlying foundational principle of a successful Christian life, and that is that Jesus must become greater through me, and that I must become less. That when people see me, they would leave talking about Jesus and not me.
That's awesome. I saw a video of your tour bus, and a couple people asked, what are your favorite Xbox games? Or anything you do to pass the time on the road?
I'm gonna lose some street cred here. I don't ever play video games ever.
Wow.
And like other guys do. I know some of the guys play Call of Duty and Halo and stuff like that, but I don't. I think the last video game that I really played was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 on my PlayStation when I was 15 or something like that. And that was the last video game that I ever really spent significant time on.
Wow.
My wife plays video games.
Yeah.
She's all about them, but I cannot even beat the first level of Super Mario Brothers on regular Nintendo. I just can't do it. I don't know. I'm good at a lot of things. Video games, not one of them.
Do you have any funny tour stories so far on this tour? Or any funny happenings or pranks or anything?
A monkey came on tour. Not on tour, but came to a show.
Like an actual monkey?
Somebody brought an actual monkey to a show.
Like a fan or a...
I don't know. It was a friend of our tour manager, and I had always made a joke about, man, you would be the best tour manager if you could get someone to bring me a monkey to play with. And I was hanging out at a show, and there was a monkey. Somebody brought a monkey, and he had actually gotten someone to bring a monkey to the show. So
you got to play with him?
Yeah, and he was just running around, chewing on my head and stuff. It was awesome.
Wow. So how did you guys get involved with Pick a Pocket, Come and Live, and Triple X Church?
Well, I guess all three of them kind of have different backgrounds. Pick a Pocket, one of the guys that runs that is a good friend of our guitarist, Mike. Triple X Church has just kind of been around. A couple of friends of mine, use their software, and it's been really sort of influential in their life. So we've known about them for a long time, and I've really sort of just believed in what they do, and I love it. I think it's important, and so I was glad to have them involved. Come and Live, actually, Chad Johnson, the founder, has been a friend of mine for probably close to 4 years now, and I have a speaking CD. I have 2 speaking CDs, but I put one of them out on their website.
Oh, okay.
And so that I'm kind of connected with Come and Live, and they were able to hop on the tour. I don't think so.
What's your most played artist or song on your iPod right now?
Is there a way to look that up?
Yeah.
Really? Here, how do I? Is there an app for that?
You just go to your music.
Okay.
And
Songs. No.
how do I do this? Audiobooks now. There is a way to do it. Okay, just what's your favorite artist right now? Since I don't know how to do this on it. I tried. I think it's on the actual computer.
An Apple tutorial or something. Probably the song that I have been most excited about is a song called Freedom by a singer named Eddie James. He's like a gospel singer. The song is just so hype and cool, and I just turn on and just dance around like a stupid person.
Who are your musical inspirations and some of the artists you enjoy? I know Jesus, obviously. But
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because just being the lyricist, a lot of my lyrical inspiration comes from people like just worship leaders, people like Corey Asbury, Rick Pino, Kim Walker, stuff like that. but you know, musically, I guess a long time ago, you know, I really wanted to be Jimmy Ryan from Haste the Day, the old vocalist, and Dan from Zayo, both those guys, and maybe Seth Kimbrough from that band Mortal Treason.
All right.
Those were like my dudes, those three guys. But I mean, that was 7 years ago or something. So now I just kind of do my thing, do what comes naturally. That's just the sound that comes from my soul when I go to war, you know, and it just.
Where's the funniest place you've written a song, or any?
We wrote Devastator in an airport in Germany.
Alright.
We were waiting in line. It was like the longest line ever to get through airport security. I mean, we were in the line for probably 3 or 4 hours.
Wow.
And we were all just like, yeah, this part could come after, just doing it with our mouths, you know, this part could come after this part. We put this piece of the song together in an airport in Germany.
Wow. Oh, what is your favorite tattoo, or which one's the one that means most to you?
I have a tattoo of a lion on my neck right here.
Want to zoom in on this?
Zooming in.
And underneath it, it says "Mighty in Battle."
Oh wow!
Awesome.
It was done by my friend Brad Smith at TrueGritInc.com in Indianapolis. He's awesome.
Yeah, for Indiana.
Yeah, he this tattoo is actually by far my favorite. It's kind of just my story as a whole. When I was a kid, I used to really deal with like sexual sin, sexual perversion, and porn, and you know, just promiscuity with girls or whatever. And as I was getting delivered, even after I got delivered from that you know, that's something that I have to be aware of, and it's not something that I still deal with now, but it's something that if I'm not paying attention, I could fall back into. And after I was married, there was a time I was on tour, and I messed up and looked at porn again, and I had to call my wife and tell my wife, who I love more than anybody in the world, that I had done that. And you know, so I was just beat up. I was like crushed. My heart was broken. You know, I just felt terrible, like just a total failure. And I was sitting in the back room of a venue in Orlando, Florida, and I was on my computer, and I Googled my name, and I don't know why or what I was expecting to find, but I came across one of those name translator websites, and I found out that the name Mattie means mighty in battle. And as soon as I didn't know that, I'd been going by Mattie for years, and I found out that the name Mattie means mighty in battle. And as soon as I said that, the Lord spoke to me, and He said, "You might have stumbled, but that doesn't change your name." And I just wept. I sat in that room and cried for probably hours. You know, was just totally undone by the goodness of God. He's just amazing. And then later, just a couple days later, I was reading in Psalm 24, and it says, "Who is this King of glory? He is Yahweh, strong and mighty, Yahweh, mighty in battle." And I said, "Mighty in battle? That's my name." Like, that is a trait that I inherited from my Father in heaven. So I always sort of try to keep that moment of identification from my Father really close to me. So you are on StageRightSecrets.com.